to talk. This game was pretty dang popular. The Storm King was such a big deal back then because of the amount of players that would actually be playing this game. Then all of a sudden I go on a quick vacation and now the numbers are dropped. We go away for like about 3 years only, that's it, just a quick vacation, and this game is already dead. So I think it's my time to jump back in and save the game for real. So this is going to be your updated 2026 guide to the Mythic Storm King, Fortnite Save the World. I'm sure you guys have grown up from my last couple of videos that I've made regarding the Storm King. So we should all have the correct weapons and the mythic weapons to be able to fight this, right? Surely, right? Anyways, to start off, let's start off with our build. This is my build. This is my regular go-to build for public or solo lobby. I have Lynx Cassandra for mainly the horn and also for doing great damage to like the mini bosses or the crystal. Next, the team perk that I'm using is Totally Rockin' Out. This is probably my favorite team perk of all time, mainly because of the crit rating and the amount of damage that you can get consistently. Now a must have is sub wafers. So in the beginning of the game, there's metal in the pre-lobby and you could break that metal for sub wafers, and where you could get the Totally Rockin' Out ability. I'm also using here Battle Beat so I can eliminate a group of zombies and be able to get the Totally Rockin' Out effect. Now I have activated attacks so my Storm King's Fury can actually do some little bit more damage to the Storm King's horn. Soaring Hide because most of the time you're always taking damage in the Storm King fight, so your shield is most likely going to be out, but the shield doesn't really matter, and that's why you have the armor by 33 so it can help you stay alive. Now I have launcher damage to make sure my Storm King's Wrath actually does a little bit more damage, and that little bit more damage can actually be useful. Now for public lobbies, I usually would change the slow field to supply drop because I like to farm the Storm King, and in the process I would also like to get additional farming like the wood, stone, metal, and the other stuff that comes in the supply drop. It's not really useful for you if you're not that good at Storm King, so I only usually do this for me because I'm consistent in it. But for new players, I would suggest using slow field. This way I mainly use this in the end game if I'm playing by myself. So when you're going to start shooting at the Storm King, then you could place the slow field down and make sure the zombies get slowed before they actually hit you, so they won't be able to hit you as much. So I would suggest using slow field. And that right there is my hero loadout for the ninja. I would pick Lynx Cassandra, and that's my normal build. Now I know a lot of people would prefer to run a soldier build, which is also fine because it could also help with the war cry with the teammates around you, and it could be really useful. I would suggest using Special Forces Banshee, or I would suggest using Go Trooper Ramirez, but I mainly use Special Forces Banshee mainly because she does extra damage to the horn when you use the war cry, and I like the extra damage. It's pretty useful to me, and I don't see a reason for the extra 9 seconds unless if it's the second horn and I could do extra damage to the Storm King with my regular weapons with the war cry that I have extended. For the soldier build, it's going to be the same exact thing as Lynx Cassandra, the ninja build. Everything's the exact same. I'll keep it the same. The slow field I would highly suggest, even if I am playing soldier and I'm playing with other people, I don't usually put the supply drop. I would still use slow field because you don't have that double jump ability to be able to dodge zombies easily, dodge the smashers easily, so therefore I would use the slow field. Now moving on to the schematics, I'm pretty sure you guys have all moved on from those legendary weapons before the mythic weapons from the videos that I showed you. So the big boys, we've grown up. Now we've got this bad boy, but you're not sure how to use it. Don't worry, that's why I'm here. We have 3 critical damages, 1 crit rating, and 1 fire rate. Sometimes people like to do a damage, but I would rather the fire rate so I could easily be able to shoot quicker and have a more chance of doing more damage instead of doing damage once then having to wait for their next jump to come in. And obviously element is going to be physical because the whole Storm King, the damage is physical. It doesn't have an element, so physical would be it. And obviously for these two, it's not going to be damage, not going to be critical rating. It's going to be crit damage, so you can do the most damage out of your crit rating, and that's where Totally Rockin' Out can totally help you out a lot with the critical hit chance, so you could consistently do very high damage to the Storm King. Now we're going to move on to the Storm King's Fury. If you have this, you would have to make this Bright Core, not Sunbeam, because the Bright Core actually moves quicker and it hits quicker when you swing it. But with the Sunbeam, even though it usually does more damage. In this case of the Storm King's horn, it does not do more damage. Instead, it just does the same amount of slow damage. It does the same amount of slow speed, and it doesn't do the extra damage. But the Bright Core, it has the same damage, but it's quicker because it's Bright Core. So you should make your Storm King's Fury Bright Core specifically for the horn. The build that I'm running for this is 3 crit damages and 1 attack speed, because there's nothing really you should be using with this. This is the most efficient way to use it. As you can see, 480% crit hit damage with a 20% crit hit chance. This crit hit chance does not matter if you have your sub wafers to activate the Totally Rocking Out. Then your crit hit chance will be much higher and you'll do all this damage. Trust me, it's really useful. But if you don't have Totally Rocking Out, you're struggling to obtain it, I understand. You can run a Blast from the Past build and end up using critical rating, and that is totally fine. Might not do as much damage, but that is the most efficient thing to do if you don't have Totally Rocking Out, honestly. Same thing for the element. The element's going to be physical because the whole Storm King is physical. It doesn't have an element, so it's going to be physical for the most damage. So it's been a very long time since I last done the Storm King and since I last played Fortnite at all. Since again I took my little vacation. So after using this, when I played the Storm King for the first time in a while, I realized this doesn't work anymore. This is not efficient. This damage, this weapon I'm pretty sure got a nerf, because when I tried using it, it did not do all that insane damage as it did when it first came out. So what I would suggest using is using the Deatomizer. I have mine on double crit damage specifically for the Storm King. Obviously the element for these weapons you cannot change, so it's going to have to stay energy, unfortunately. If there's a physical option, I would choose that. You wouldn't need any cooling rate or heat capacity because you'll be having 2. You'll be switching between 2. So not only your shooting would be faster, but then your heat capacity won't be raised up. And there you go. Because you'll be using this to Storm King, you would want damage to missed monsters and bosses. The Storm King is considered as a boss, so that 36% damage will be way better than doing the general 30% damage. For this perk, it doesn't really matter which one you would use because none of this really does much damage to the Storm King. So I would suggest just worrying about these 4 right here, and that is it. Now again, if it is the end game and you actually don't have Totally Rocking Out, you're using a different build, or maybe you just simply ran out of sub wafers to be able to activate the Totally Rocking Out, this is why I have an emergency second schematic of the Deatomizer, which instead of running 2 critical damages, I replace 1 with crit rating. So now I have a more chance to hit a critical hit. Even though it won't be as much damage, now I have more chance. So now I will end up doing more damage instead of having 2 critical damage but never hitting it because I don't have the crit chance. This one is also, the schematic is also used for general. This schematic is also used for general gameplay, like if I'm playing for fun, if I'm playing a mission and I need to hit a big group of people, if I'm playing a mission and I need to hit a group of hug, if I am playing and I need to hit a group of zombies, then I would use this weapon for fun. This weapon is just generally very fun, so that's why I have the general 30% damage, because I also use this outside of the Storm King. But again, if you're going to make this schematic with crit rating, and specifically only for the Storm King, if you don't have the Totally Rocking Out, you can make damage to missed monsters and bosses, since it'll do that 6% more damage to the Storm King, which is a boss. Another weapon I would also suggest for the end game when you're hitting the Storm King is the pot shot. And what I use for this is double crit damage. I use the damage here, and I use the damage to miss monsters and bosses. And for this one, I actually switched it to Affliction, because Affliction damage can actually do that little damage that can be pretty useful, and I use it in a lot of my schematics. And of course, you could select any element, but the element you should choose for Storm King should be physical, for the Storm King to do the most damage as he can. And obviously I'm running double crit damage, so my crit hit chance will be low, but that totally rocking out will make it go high, and I'll be hitting very, very powerful shots with the pot shot. And obviously I'll be using 2 of them, so I won't have to worry about me shooting once and then having to wait for the next shot. I could just switch between both of them, and that's how I go. Obviously, like I said before, to the atomizer, I have a crit rating and a crit damage for my emergency one if I have no Totally Rocking Out. Again, this could also be used for outside missions. If you don't have Totally Rocking Out, you could use this as well, and this will have the critical rating for you to hit some of the crit hit damage, which will do a lot of damage. The 2 traps that I suggest you use for the Storm King, which I use all the time, is the healing pad. This healing pad, you could be at 1 HP, and as soon as you go on it, then it will instantly heal you up all the way, and it doesn't take that much to make. All it is every single perk, healing amount, healing amount, healing amount, and the last perk doesn't really matter. As long as you have all of this to the max, the more you can put in this, the more healing you can get. And I have mine maxed out at 133 power level actually, because it's really useful to me, and I might think about maxing this out. I have the supercharges for it, so maybe in the future I'll be having this at 144, maybe not. Another one I suggest you use is the player jump pad, which is directional, not the one that goes up. And this is because it can help you get out of situations very, very quickly. Let's just say you're getting bombarded by a bunch of zombies in the Storm King fight, and you have the Storm King about to laser you. Instead of trying to run away, you can use the directional pad to quickly get out there. Now you're out of trouble. Now you could heal, or you could use this to angle yourself to hit the Storm King's crystals, or to hit the Storm King mini boss, or to simply just get to the horn quicker if you know where it's going to fall. I would also suggest the Baron. This is because you can use 3 armor perks and max it out, and therefore when you get hit and you have this equipped in your hands, then any damage that will be done to you won't be a lot of damage. It will literally take away most of the damage, and it's so useful. You could have a laser hit you, and equipping this won't make your shield even deplete all the way. That's how good this Baron is. I always have it in my 3rd inventory slot. I'm always holding it around whenever there's no action, whenever I'm not shooting anything, or whenever I'm trying to dodge around. I always use this. I don't use this for hitting, I don't use this for damaging anything. I only use this to hold it, and for the armor perks. That's it. All you need is these 3 armor perks, the element and the attack speed. It doesn't matter. For these 2, doesn't matter what perks you use, as long as you have these 3 armor perks, you will be fine. I actually don't have this as a schematic. I've been having this for years, but the reason why this isn't broken is because, again, I don't use this to hit. I use this to only hold. Sometimes by accident. Over the years, I've been hitting stuff by accident. You know what happens. And for having something for such a long time, it might eventually break from me hitting it too much by accident. So yeah, I suggest you not hit it. Another one I also suggest getting is the ear splitter. This is because the right click ability, the one that takes up stamina, is actually really useful, because when you use it and you hold down, at least 4 thrusts on the floor can make all the players around you actually get a damage boost, and it stacks up to 4 times only, and it does a lot of damage to the Storm King's horn. This could be very useful in a team game, but solo, I would suggest not using this. Maybe as like a duo or trio, but definitely as a squad, it could be useful if your teammates know what you're doing, and if your teammates are around you, close to you, and this could also help you as well at the same time, get that damage boost to quickly defeat the Storm King's horn.
Prize up, we only need 2 of us at. Should be good. Alright.
A lot of these things has worked for me personally because this is the way I run Storm King and this is how I've been doing it for the longest time. There might be other people saying that I'm wrong, that I should do this instead, and maybe I might just follow those suggestions because again, this is the way I've been doing it. I haven't been corrected much because I know what I'm doing. I do this a lot and I've been doing it for years, and this is something I find very fun to do with a group, to help with others, or to just simply do it by myself. Anyways, let's start off with my favorite hero. We're going to start off with Link's Cassandra, and you guys are going to see how I play Link's Cassandra in the Mythic Storm King solo. Alright guys, we're going no fill in here, and as I play the Storm King, I'm going to be telling you guys what I think and how I play the Storm King and how I process everything as I'm playing. So first things first, you're going to want to press launch to actually be able to get into the game and start playing the Storm King or whatever match you're playing. You have to play launch, alright?
So as soon as you go into the game, you're going to want to find every single metal piece and break it to get your sub wafers for your team perk Totally Rocking Out. So I have 10 so far, but the more the better, so I'm going to try and get more. Got 2 more. So if the crystal ever spawns on the back, you can hold down and still hit it from behind. And wherever you see the dark cloud on the minimap, that's where it's going to spawn in. And as you can see, all the time in the Storm King fight, you're going to want to multitask between the Storm King and the crystals. So after I finish defeating the mini boss, I'm going for the crystals, staying jumping around, and if the blaster is just trying to take them out before they get you. And right now there's not much going on, and when that's the case, I just try and keep my Baron out for my armor so I don't take too much damage when I'm doing that thing. I hear a taker, which can be dangerous for me whenever I'm using my kunai, because the taker could easily get me when I'm in the air, especially since the taker does a lot of damage. But anyways, let me take out this crystal first. If you see the voice line from Director Riggs how you're getting to him, that means you're on the 4th crystal. So I would suggest taking out your Storm King's Fury, and the next time you get the crystal, you already know that he's gonna go down. So judging from the way he's flailing his arms, he's going to be this way. Now I took my crystal and kunai. I need to get closer. If I get lucky with my crits, I could potentially break this horn. And there I have it. There I had to take 3 sub wafers so I could finish off the horn. I'm gonna go get this crystal first before anything else. Then I'll go ahead and get the mini boss. Let's see what the Storm King can do. He looks like he's going to do an attack to me. I called it. I'm going to evade the attack, then go for the mini boss. If I'm not mistaken, that is his last crystal before he goes down for the horn stage. And here I have to be very careful. So right now he is going down, as I said. Hopefully I get this horn. Let's take a sub wafer and finish up this horn. And now let's go get him with the deatomizers. I'm going to use my crit damage deatomizers. I'm going to wait a bit for my kunai to recharge, because I don't want to be spending unnecessary ammo. Let's place down this, and now let's finish him off. And there you have it. That is the Storm King for Ninja, done on the first try. So no different as the soldier. As soon as you spawn in, you're going to want to get all the metal pieces that you can. And I'm getting a little bit unlucky on my sub wafers. Hopefully I can get some here. So I got 2. I got 7. Hopefully I could get this last piece. So I end with 7, which for soldier mainly it isn't good, but we're not going to back off. We have to make it as realistic as possible. For soldier, you might want to place cones more to get a little bit more elevated. And we don't have any starting husks to get our places down. So I'm going to try and do loops. Try not to waste too much ammo. I don't know why I had that equipped. Let's jump back in. And let's get the mini boss. Mini boss is done. I'm going to evade that smasher. Alright, so he's 3 crystals down. Let's see if I can make some traps while I'm here, because I'm running out of some. So good thing I have my Baron out, even when I'm not doing anything, because you will always be taking damage to the Storm King in some way or another. So that damage would be good if it was minimalized. I see a taker, so I'm going to want to get out of the way of the taker. I'm going to go kill this mini boss first, so it doesn't affect us during the horn phase. Now that that's that, we know the next crystal is going to be down. Alright, we got hit, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go up this way. And we're all good. That's the thing I like about soldier the most. That makes the horn stage easiest, and that is because you have consistent high damage all the time, unlike the ninja where if you don't do high damage on your kunai, then you basically have to get lucky for the rest. If not, then you're done for. But the soldier with the war cry, it can be really good, and I haven't been using much of my sub wafers, so I have some left. Let me go evade and get this crystal before I get this mini boss. Let me activate my totally rocket out so I could get this mini boss. Let me dodge that meteorite. I'm missing every shot. Good thing I got a crit. Now what I'm doing here is for fun. You shouldn't be doing this at all. But I just do it here for fun. Let me go angle myself so I can get the crystal. And I know that he's gonna spawn in that side. So let me try and angle myself. He's still smashing, you're gonna be annoying. Let me go angle myself, almost died. Good thing I have my Baron to save me, and let's bounce back in. Okay, I haven't been counting, so just in case, I'm going to take out my Storm King's Fury. Maybe, maybe not. It's not the last. Running out of batteries, but that's okay. Okay, where is it? That was the last indeed. So let's climb out, make a foundation so we don't get knocked down. Hopefully we don't get knocked down. Not getting very lucky with my crits. Not sure what's going on. Okay. I've been knocked down. That's not good. But you already know how we go. I'm going to reposition myself. And just attack, 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 attack. Alright, right here, I'm going to heal. Put down a slow feud. And keep attacking. Let's go for the slow feud. After this blast, I'm gonna go again with my sub wafer. Attack, attack, attack. It's just the same thing over and over. Just like that. First try, both times. Done. Easy. Ninja and Soldier. It's not that difficult. Don't stress yourself out. That is how it's done. Alright, that's going to be it for me. This guide is very straightforward, very simple. There is some little parts to it that can be very useful, and just in general very informative, very useful to helping you beat the Storm King, and whether it's Soldier or whether it's Ninja, and whichever one you like best. For example, I like Ninja better because you can move around, or maybe you like Soldier because it could be really useful in a team and for beating the Horn. Then that is totally up to you. This is a guide for you. This is the perfect guide for Storm King. Nothing else is better than this. Maybe 20 years in the future from now, people will be looking at this video only because it's the only useful one, and people are going to be begging me to come back when I go on my short little vacation. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. But of course, please subscribe. Even though I don't post much, this is a for fun video for me. This is the only time I have time to make this video. Don't know if that made sense or not, but for those of you who understand me, this video is for fun. I really do enjoy playing the Storm King. I really do enjoy making these type of videos, editing them and posting them online and seeing what people have to see about it. So if you guys have any suggestions to the video, if you guys have any just simple comments you'd like to say to the video, please drop them. I like to read them. And yeah, that is about it for me. I'll see you guys after my next vacation. Bye bye.